on a journey came upon them. Now, when you look back at the priest that was going down the road and the Levite who came upon him, but the Samaritan was on a journey minding his own business. He had no dealings with Jews. He was just on a journey, came upon him, and when he saw him, the first thing that he felt was compassion. When he saw him, he didn't say, oh, I got to write a discourse about this, oh, I got to cross the street. Now, what Jesus is saying is that when you come upon a situation, while you're in life's journey, what is the first thing that we as Christians feel, for God's sake? See what I'm talking about? Because if you don't feel this, Jesus is saying you ain't united with me here. And as this economy gets worse, people, and worse, and people aren't going to come up, look, if it gets bad and somebody come and knock on the door, and you come to the door and say, yes, what is it? John, how you doing? He says, fine. I'm your neighbor. I say, yeah, I know you live down the street. John, I wonder if you can help me. My family, I lost my job, and then the man just breaks down and start crying. I'm going to say, come in. And I'm going to go to my cupboard and empty it. I said, just take all that. Take it. Take it, man. You're going to feed your babies. Then I'm going to go to the other neighbor. Man, you know the guy down at 6215? Right. Go on there. We're going to fill up his pantry. We're going to fill his pantry up. Because that's my neighbor. I don't know what religion he is. I don't know what job he lost. But when a man come and he crying because his babies are hungry, that means that man may get desperate. I feel compassion, and I immediately empty my pantry and help him. Now I hope a massive bride don't start because I ain't got nothing. I got to go to the store and refill up my pantry because I got a little money in the bank. You understand? Now if I don't have any money in the bank, I'm going to say, I'll give you a certain portion of this, but that's all right. My other neighbors got food too. Now here's the question. What would you do? Just tell me, what would you do? Would you say, well, I got to test you to see if you're telling the truth? The tears tell the whole story. Because a man's not going to come to you and start crying unless he's hurting for his babies. Right. And when you see that, it's compassion. And then if you got a few extra bucks, put that in his pocket. And then tell the man, don't tell anybody what I did. That's where it is. Now you're going to understand this Samaritan man. That's the kind of man he was. And Jesus was saying to his own people, you people call yourself the people of the truth, and you can't do this. We note that he was not a Jew, rather a Samaritan. He was an outcast. He was one in which the Jews had no dealing. This man is one that could have passed on the other side, and no one would have said anything about it because he was a Samaritan. They would have said, well, he was supposed to pass by. He saw a Jew all beaten up. He knew he was a Jew. He said, man, we ain't got no dealings. I'm passing that up. But he was one that didn't pass it up because he had compassion. In the same sense, when God places upon your heart to do and be something. I don't know about you, but today I was invited by Mexico. I got to go by my family. They have, like Bob and his Filipino family. Well, I got my Mexican family. And they asked me by there having a barbecue at my daughter's house. And she said, the whole clan will be there. And I will be the representative of the African American tribe. Now, when they're eating their food, talking their language, and everything else, I am right there loving them. And it makes my daughter feel so good. Leslie just comes and hugs her daddy and says, thank you for accepting the people that have become my family. I said, baby, I can't do nothing else. I'm a Christian. Now, sometimes I break off and come by y'all's house because, see, I'm trying to find myself. But it is a good time to be there. Are you like that? Look at this. This man could have passed on the other side. No one would have said anything about it because he wasn't a Jew in the first place. There would have been no questions asked if the Jewish man that was attacked had died after the Samaritan man passed him up. Because they would have said, well, that's apropos. You don't find nobody that's of a different racial extraction helping different people. But this man was under another kind of law. He was not under the law of his conscience, or his, not his conscience, but his ego, like the attorney. He was under the law of heart hell. It's a heart law. When Christ saves you, he changes your heart. Your heart is changed. You can't be that same person. It's impossible for you to be that. I can preach about it week after week after week. If Christ hasn't changed your heart, you're going to still be that fool when you wake up the next morning. But this man was under a different kind of law. Let's look at some of the things that the man did not do mixed in with what he did. He did not ask himself if the man deserved to be loved. Is that what we do? We ask ourselves, well, let me see if I got some room to help this street urchin. Elson, honorable thing you and your husband did with Kyle. Honorable thing. Honorable. Honorable. Just and repeatedly honorable. When he comes back, love. Because hey, honorable thing when you love someone like that. Love someone that is not in your bloodline, not in your family line, but you know what they need, and you, ooh, Jesus. And when you put up with, you know what God says to you? Great is your reward in heaven. When you put up with them. Because I'm telling you, a sinner is a wild thing to put up with. This man saw that the man required it, and in seeing it, he responded to it. Look at what he did. He came upon him, and when he saw him, he felt compassion. Look at verse 34. And he came upon him, and he band-aided them up. In other words, he put some wrappings on his wounds, pouring oil. That was the way that they helped the wound when it was open. You poured oil and wine into it because of the fermented content of the wine. It helped heal the wound. The man had open cuts all on it. And then he put him on his own beast, meaning that he put him on his own donkey, and he walked, and the other man was laying across the donkey. That's how messed up he was. And brought him into an inn, into the hotel, and took care of him. He didn't just throw him in there and leave him. He bought a room, put him on his bed, washed the man's body down, tied him up. See, he wasn't like, were you in the Bible study that day when they was all arguing with me about if somebody was on the street and needed help, and all the Bible study students was getting on my case? No, you don't touch nobody out there because you can be sued. I'm sorry. Jesus got your number. This man wasn't worried about being sued. This man had compassion. That's why my mind was blown in the Bible study when all the students tried to come against me, told me I was a fool. Man, you fool around and tell somebody like that now, you can be sued. And so what do you do when you have compassion on somebody? Well, you got to wait on help to get there. What if help don't get there for 3 hours? Well, they just got to die, but don't touch them. Because if you touch them and the family come and somebody said, well, he touched him, then they can sue you. So what you going to do as a Christian? You going to let him die in the gutter? Or are you going to let the person rest on you and rub his forehead and tell him it's going to be all right?